Recording 1.
So, today I'll be talking about automation with the chief designer for a well-known computer company. We'll be exploring what automation means for us in the future. So, John, perhaps you could first define automation for us and put it into a historical context.
Certainly. By automation, we mean the automatically controlled operation of a machine or a process, particularly when it is in place of human labour.
So, robots building cars in factories, that kind of thing?
Yes, or, more interestingly, computers designing the robots that build the cars.
Right. And you say we are at a point in history when we should be talking seriously about automation. But it is not a new phenomenon, is it?
Absolutely not. There are various claims to the first example of automation. For example, the water wheel was invented thousands of years ago. Then there was the first industrial revolution in the 18th century, which completely changed the nature of manufacturing, introducing factories and mass production. Then, in the 19th century, we have electricity and the start of the assembly line. And since the 1970s, of course, we have had information technology and computers doing all sorts of jobs.
So there is a long history of automation, and yet you are suggesting we have reached a crucial stage.
That's right. In a few years' time, digital technology will have completely changed the job market.
But hasn't automation always been an ongoing process?
Yes, of course. And throughout history, people have worried about machines taking their jobs. But the sheer scale and speed at which automation is currently happening makes this like a new industrial revolution. I predict that by 2025, computers will have taken up to 80% of today's jobs, and robots will be performing tasks we haven't even imagined.
You're painting a rather bleak picture of the future. What can people do to protect themselves?
Well, we just have to think carefully about which skills we should be focusing on. By this I mean we need to concentrate on developing skills and attributes which are distinctly human.
Recording 2.
Could you explain what you mean by distinctly human skills?
Perhaps I can answer that by talking about skills which are not distinctly human. If we go back to past stages of automation, before the first industrial revolution, strength and stamina were important. People did all the hard work, like digging and cutting.
Right.
Then machines came along, and these attributes became a lot less valuable. Machines did all the hard work.
And how about skills like sowing or planting crops? Jobs that require more dexterity?
As machines became more sophisticated, they started to take over these kinds of jobs as well. So people became machine operators rather than doing the work themselves.
And how about basic mathematics skills? These were very important.
Yes. Before the calculator, anyone working in banking, for example, had to be able to do calculations without a machine.
Of course, nowadays computers can calculate far quicker than any human.
That's right. And spelling, a very important skill for a long time. And then along comes the word processor with spell checking, and suddenly good spelling wasn't so important.
So what does this mean for today's young people?
Well, we don't really know what jobs robots will be doing in the future.
So how can we prepare?
Well, I'm saying it's not enough to learn a skill like driving a truck or designing a house and assume that this guarantees us a job. Because computers are learning these sort of skills at an incredible rate.
We already have driverless cars.
Exactly. So we don't know which of today's skills computers will have learnt. But there are some things that I believe they will never learn.
For example?
If I try and picture the world in 2025 or even 2040, I can confidently say that robots will not be solving complex problems.
How can you be so sure?
Because they won't have learnt how to think critically.
Interesting. Are there any other skills you think are future-proof?
Well, I'm pretty certain that by 2040, robots won't have acquired emotional intelligence. So they won't be managing people in the way that humans can.
It sounds as if you're describing high-level cognitive skills.
Exactly.
And you're saying that these are skills that employers will be looking for in the future?
Yes, because they are the qualities that only humans can offer.
I suppose that skills like decision-making and creativity would also be included in this?
Well, decision-making, probably not actually. We can already see that computers are tremendously good at weighing up future possibilities and making good decisions.
Oh.
But creativity, creative thinking, yes, that is absolutely the sort of thing people should be focusing on.
Well, it's a fascinating view. Thank you. In the next part of the programme, we'll be hearing from some listeners. They'll be telling us how they feel about the possibility of automation in their industries. But first...
Recording 3.
I was just reading an article about the best apps out there at the moment.
Oh, I don't bother with apps anymore. Most of them are just a waste of time, games and stuff. There are more important things in the world.
Yeah, but some apps are about important things.
Really? Like what?
Well, there's this Power to Give app, which uses your phone's spare computer power to help important research projects.
Is that an original idea?
Yes, no one's tried it before. It's really innovative.
How much more power can a few phones generate?
Well, that's the thing. The more people who use the app, the better the results. Potentially, if millions of people download it, the grid will have access to more power than a supercomputer. That's what the website says anyway.
OK, fair enough. But does this app actually do any good? I mean, I do want to help, but not if it's supporting research into something bad or a waste of time like looking for extraterrestrials.
Actually, extraterrestrial research is just one of the projects. You can choose which project you support. There's cancer research, climate change research.
Oh, I didn't realise that. That's good then. But is it reliable? I hate it when these things go wrong. It drives me mad.
Well, I haven't downloaded it yet, but I've had a look at the reviews. There are a few people saying they've had problems.
Right. So it's not very reliable.
Well, I don't know. Nothing's perfect, is it?
And is it safe?
What do you mean?
Well, my phone's got all sorts of data on it. Bank details, passwords, and this app connects my phone to some grid somewhere. Who's going to have access to it?
No, I checked that because I was a bit worried about it too. Only HTC accesses the processing power. It doesn't touch any of your data.
OK. Well, it sounds pretty good, I suppose. I'll have a look.
Recording 4.
A.
For years, I resolved every January that was the year I would exercise more. Every year until now, I failed. I realised that I was setting myself an unrealistic goal. To go from next to no exercise to expecting to go to the gym 3 times a week. This year, I am doing things differently. I started out by deciding to do 5 minutes of exercise a day. That was easy, so I did that every day for 2 weeks. Then I made it 10 minutes a day and did that for 3 weeks. Now I am on 15 minutes a day. I feel fitter already and the change has been easy.
B. I left school without any qualifications. It hasn't really been a problem so far, as I make good money, but I can see that at some point in the future I won't be able to progress any further. I would really like to become an engineer, but I'm not sure if I have the brains for that. So at the moment, I'm taking distance learning classes in maths and physics at school leaving level. If I succeed in those, I will find out what other subjects I need to study engineering. If I don't succeed, I'll try something else. Maybe I have a talent for languages or art. Who knows? I'm young, so I have time to try lots of things. C.
I run our company's canteen. I noticed that the kitchen helpers were spending a lot of time cleaning up after every meal, so we all decided to look at ways of changing the process to save time. First of all, we installed a conveyor belt that carried trays with used plates and cutlery into the kitchen, and we asked the staff to put their used trays on the belt instead of leaving them on the tables. That improved things a lot. Then one of my workers suggested we could work even faster if the staff removed all the rubbish, napkins, plastic cups, sugar packets and so on, from their trays before putting them on the conveyor belt. We have put rubbish bins next to the conveyor belt and are now monitoring to see how much difference that has made.
Recording 5.
Good morning.
Good morning, Doctor. Excuse me.
Take a seat. What seems to be the trouble?
Well, it's a number of things, actually. Firstly, I think it's probably just a cold, but I wanted to check with you, really. Basically, I've got a really bad cough, and I sneeze a lot.
Oh dear. So how long have you had this cough?
I guess it's 4 days now. It's been worse for the last 2 days.
Right.
But I've had a few sore throats now in the last few weeks.
And have you had a high temperature at all?
No.
Any aches or pains in your body?
No.
Well, it's probably just a cold then. Get plenty of rest and make sure you drink lots of liquid. You'll probably get over it in a few days without having to take anything.
Okay.
Are you taking any painkillers?
Yes, aspirin.
Well, that's fine. That'll help the sore throat.
What I don't understand is why I keep getting ill. This is probably the 3rd time I've come down with a cold in the last month. It seems strange.
Well, it can happen. There are different cold viruses, and just when your body finishes fighting one, you can catch another one. It's normal at this time of year, so it's nothing to worry about.
Okay.
But if the cough doesn't go away this time, let's say after a week, then come back and we'll give you a check to make sure you don't have a chest infection. But for now, it's nothing to worry about.
Okay. The other thing is that I had a bit of an accident yesterday while I was cycling.
Yes?
I was cycling down a hill in the forest, and I don't know what happened, but I fell off. And I hurt my arm and my side. Here, I've got a few bruises and it aches a bit. I just wanted to check that everything was okay.
Right. Well, let me just ask first, did you hit your head at all when you fell?
A little bit, yes.
And did you lose consciousness?
No, nothing like that. I was wearing a helmet, so I just felt a bit dizzy, but I didn't feel like I was going to pass out or anything.
Well, in any case, I think you really should have gone straight to hospital to get yourself checked out if you bumped your head, especially if you felt dizzy afterwards.
Oh, right.
Can I just see where you say you've got these bruises?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Right. Let me just feel here. Does it hurt if I do this?
No, not really.
Okay. Well, yes, I think you've just got a few bruises here. Your shoulder will probably ache for a while, and I think it's best if you keep off the bike for a few weeks at least.
Oh, really? I'm supposed to be taking part in a race next week.
Well, I wouldn't recommend that. Some gentle exercise is fine, but nothing like a race. You need to let your body get over the fall. Let me just see here. Oh, that's a very nasty cut.
Yeah, it hurts a bit there.
I'm going to give you a cream to treat that with. It will help it to heal, and it will stop you getting any kind of infection there.
Right.
Okay, here you are. Put it on 3 times a day.
Can I just ask one more thing?
Okay, but it will have to be very quick because I have to get on to the next patient.
Sure. I'm going on holiday in a couple of months' time to Cambodia. I wanted to know about injections, that kind of thing.
Right, well, they can give you the information you need about that at reception. You'll need to make an appointment with one of our nurses here to get that done.
Right.
But speak to reception about it. They'll tell you everything you need to know.
Okay, thanks very much.
Have a nice day.
Recording 6.
Speaker 1.
I had really bad headaches, so I decided to go to a homeopathic doctor. You know, they give you these little white tablets which have a tiny amount of something which is actually poisonous. And I remember on my first visit, he spent an hour asking me questions to find out as much as he could about me before he looked at what was wrong with me. He said the idea was to treat the whole person, not just the disease. I thought this was really good. My normal doctor is always in a hurry, and you're lucky if he gives you more than 10 minutes.
Speaker 2. A friend of mine had a very bad cough which wouldn't go away, so he tried a treatment called radionics. The person treating you takes something that belongs to you, like a piece of clothing or something, and then turns some dials on this box. It looks a bit like a radio, actually. And then they decide what's wrong with you. What a load of rubbish. I don't know how people can believe things like that.
Speaker 3.
I had really bad pains in my knee. I tried all kinds of drugs and I even went to hospital, but nothing worked. I could walk, but I couldn't run or do sport. Then a friend recommended acupuncture. It's where they put needles into particular points or places on your body. I was a bit doubtful at first, but I tried it and the doctor put needles all round my knees. Since then, I haven't had any problems at all. I can even go skiing again. I've no idea how it works, but it certainly worked for me.
Speaker 4.
A friend of mine tried several times to give up smoking, but she always started again. Then someone recommended a doctor who used hypnosis. She told me about it. It was really interesting. She sat in a comfortable chair and he hypnotized her. He just counted to 20 and she fell into a deep sleep, and when she woke up, she didn't want to smoke anymore. Obviously, she doesn't remember what he said when she was under hypnosis, but I guess he must have told her that she didn't need to smoke. That was 3 months ago, and she still doesn't want to smoke.
Recording 7.
What's all this about? What's the big secret?
We've got to be somewhere, that's all.
But where?
Ah, it's a surprise.
I'm not sure I like surprises.
It'll be fine.
I've no idea where we are. I've never seen this street before.
Just wait and see.
Where on earth are we going?
Wait and see.
Hang on, I know where we are.
Do you?
Yeah. Is there another flat available around here?
Follow me.
But Tom, this is the same flat.
Welcome to our new home.
Really?
Step right this way. What do you think?
But didn't you say yesterday that we'd missed out?
We did.
So what happened?
The estate agent called me back. The other people changed their mind.
Really? So it's ours if we want it?
Actually, it is ours.
What?
I paid a deposit this afternoon.
But Tom, I thought we were going to talk about it first.
Oh, right. I sort of thought we had.
Well, I suppose, in a way.
And you were so disappointed when we missed out.
Yes. Yes, I was.
And I didn't want to miss out this time.
But you could have said something.
Sorry. I wanted it to be a surprise.
Well, next time make sure you ask me.
Well?
It's a lovely surprise.
You're not too annoyed?
No. In fact, not at all.
You did say it was the perfect flat.
And it is. I love this space and the view, and the kitchen is so well designed.
Did you guess?
In the car?
Yeah.
Well, I thought you were taking me to see a flat.
But not this one.
No, of course not.
I thought about it a bit yesterday. You know, the different route.
Oh, I do love it. I can't wait to move in.
We have to sign the lease first.
Yes, of course.
And there's another document that we have to sign beforehand.
What's that?
Our marriage licence, that's all.
Recording 8.
Well, I'm not sure I want electronics just stuck on my skin.
I bet it's no different from putting on a plaster when you cut yourself.
But plasters don't have electronics in them.
It wouldn't worry me. There are other things to worry about.
Like what?
Well, what was it I was reading about the other day? Yeah, there's this laboratory where they're growing meat. Synthetic meat. I find that kind of scary.
Oh, that. Yeah, there was that scientist who made his own hamburger and ate it online.
Yuck.
Actually, I think that's a great idea. Grow your own meat. Very cool.
But it's not natural.
Yes, it is. It's just not grown on a cow, that's all.
But all these tiny pieces of meat that they have to push together just to make one burger.
Nothing wrong with that.
And the end result is something that costs 250,000 euros to make. I mean, these scientists who are sort of like Dr. Frankenstein, how can they justify that?
Well, but they're bound to find cheaper ways to grow the meat. And what you may not realise is that it's much better for the environment.
How come?
I was reading about it, and to produce just 15 grams of meat, that's 1/5, cows need about 100 grams of vegetables. I mean, that's a really, really inefficient use of energy.
I'm sure it takes a lot of energy to make meat grow in the laboratory.
Not nearly as much. And what I didn't know was that about 30% of the Earth's surface is covered with crops that we grow just to feed animals for meat.
Yeah, I know that. And
so, if we can grow meat, we could use some of that land to grow crops for people.
well, yeah, fair point.
But what amazes me is that you can't see the obvious answer. Go vegan.
Vegan? Why would I do that? I like meat.
Well, I don't think you'd like meat that a scientist has made in a laboratory. There's no fat or blood in it, which means it would taste different.
All right, but why vegan? What's wrong with cheese?
Dairy cows. They produce tons of carbon dioxide and methane, which are all harmful gases, very bad for global warming.
I suppose that's true. But tell me one thing.
What?
When did you last catch the bus to work?
Well, it was, I don't know, a couple of months ago?
More like a year ago. You drive every day. Well, Toby, what I find strange is that if you're worried about the climate crisis, well, I think there are more ways of helping out than eating meat that a scientist has put together in a laboratory.
Yeah, but the bus service is really inconvenient.
Sure it is.
Well, you can stick what you like on your skin. I'm going to enjoy my synthetic burger.